In mid-2025, a sudden and sweeping directive from Washington, D.C. sent shockwaves through the global aviation industry. Overnight, all U.S.-made jet engine exports to China were halted, a move that stunned both American and Chinese officials alike. The impact was immediate and dramatic. Production of the C919, China's flagship passenger jet, ground to a halt in Shanghai, leaving the factory floor eerily silent. Assembly lines froze in place, with nearly completed C919 fuselages lined up, each one missing its irreplaceable heart, the LEAP 1C engines, a technological marvel co-developed by GE and Safran, now locked away in storage. The ban was more than a political maneuver. It was an industrial earthquake, laying bare China's deep reliance on Western technology for its most ambitious projects. Airlines across China and beyond were thrown into uncertainty, with executives at COMAC scrambling to find answers. The West's message was unmistakable. Access to critical technology could be revoked at any time, leaving entire industries vulnerable. This was no ordinary trade dispute. It was a calculated global maneuver, a high-stakes chess move in the ongoing struggle for technological supremacy. The U.S. action, though officially described as temporary, sent a chilling reminder to Beijing. Its commercial aviation dream still rested on the foundation of Western innovation and expertise. The fallout was swift and chaotic. Chinese engineers and executives launched a desperate search for alternatives, only to realize that the technological leash binding them to the West was far shorter than they had imagined. Even after the ban was lifted 6 weeks later, the scars remained. Production resumed, but the sense of vulnerability lingered. China's dependence had been exposed for all to see. The incident shattered any illusion of a stable, long-term partnership with Western suppliers. Trust had been broken, and the rules of engagement had changed. For China's leadership, the lesson was stark and urgent. To secure its aviation future, it must break free from foreign technology, no matter the cost or the challenge ahead. The fate of the C919, and China's ambitions in the skies, now depended on its ability to innovate and chart its own independent course. The race for technological self-reliance had begun, and the world was watching to see if China could truly take flight on its own terms. The C919, a symbol of China's ambition, is actually a patchwork of global parts, especially its Western-made engine. The LEAP 1C engine, the heart of the jet, represents decades of Western expertise and billions in R&D. When the US ban hit, China's calculated risk in relying on foreign suppliers backfired spectacularly. Developing a modern jet engine from scratch is one of the toughest engineering feats, requiring advanced metallurgy and precision manufacturing. China's own CJ1000A engine was years behind, leaving the C919 at the mercy of Western partners. The ban turned the C919's greatest strength, its world-class components, into its biggest weakness. The crisis forced Beijing to rethink its strategy. The dream of simply joining the global aerospace club was over. Now, self-sufficiency was an urgent necessity. China needed a partner who understood sanctions and had deep aerospace experience. That partner was Russia. The search for independence had a new direction. Reeling from the US ban, China's aviation industry found itself at a crossroads. The sudden cutoff from Western technology and components sent shockwaves through the country's ambitious plans to become a global aerospace leader. Factories slowed, supply chains frayed, and the future of China's flagship C919 jet hung in the balance. In this moment of uncertainty, China turned to Russia, a nation already forced to de-Westernize its aviation industry after facing its own wave of sanctions. Russia's experience in rapidly replacing foreign components after 2022 made it a natural ally. Russian engineers had already proven they could keep their fleets flying without Western support, developing homegrown solutions under pressure. By late 2025, a landmark deal was struck. Russia's United Engine Corporation would work with China's AECC to adapt the advanced PD-14 engine for the C919, marking a new era of technical collaboration. This partnership was born of necessity and ambition. China brought scale, funding, and a massive domestic market, while Russia contributed engine expertise and sanction-proof technology honed by years of isolation. The alliance aimed to break the West's chokehold on aerospace, forging a new path for both nations to assert their independence and technological prowess. For Russia, it meant access to new markets, fresh investment, and a chance to fund the development of next-generation engines that could compete globally. For China, it was a vital lifeline to keep C919 production alive and maintain momentum in its quest for aviation self-sufficiency. Industry experts saw this as the birth of a parallel, non-Western aerospace ecosystem, one that could eventually rival the established giants of Boeing and Airbus. The collaboration sent a clear message to the world: sanctions would unite, not isolate these powers, and adversity would only strengthen their resolve. Russian and Chinese engineers working side by side became a symbol of defiance and innovation, blending their expertise to overcome obstacles together. Instead of crippling China's ambitions, the US ban catalyzed a formidable new bloc. one that was determined to chart its own course in the skies. The Russo-Chinese partnership now stands as a direct challenge to the established order, signaling a shift in the balance of global aerospace power. The technological Cold War had a new front, and the world was watching as the Bear and the Dragon took flight together. Jet engines are the crown jewels of aerospace, complex, costly, and fiercely guarded by a handful of Western giants. These machines are not just marvels of engineering, they are the beating heart of modern air power, enabling everything from commercial airliners to advanced military jets to take flight. The ability to design, build, and maintain these engines is a mark of true technological sophistication and national strength. Mastering engine technology is the final step to true aerospace independence. It's a challenge that has taken decades for even the most advanced nations to overcome, requiring not just technical know-how, but also vast resources and a robust industrial base. Without a domestic engine, a nation's aviation industry remains vulnerable to foreign pressure. Export bans, sanctions, or even simple supply chain disruptions can ground entire fleets, stalling economic growth and undermining national security. The PD-14, while not as efficient as the LEAP-1C, is modern, certified, and free of Western parts, offering China a real path to independence. It represents a significant leap forward for China's aviation ambitions, signaling a shift in the global aerospace landscape. This collaboration threatens the Western duopoly's business model, which relies on closed ecosystems and long-term service contracts. For decades, Western firms have dominated not just engine sales, but also the lucrative aftermarket and maintenance sectors. The Russo-Chinese alliance aims to build a rival ecosystem, combining Russian design with Chinese manufacturing. Together, they hope to challenge the status quo and create a new, competitive force in global aviation. If successful, they could offer credible alternatives to nations seeking to diversify away from Western suppliers. This could reshape procurement decisions for airlines and governments worldwide. The strategic implications are huge. A new center of gravity in global aerospace could emerge, shifting influence and opportunity to new players. For the first time, the West faces a serious attempt to break its monopoly on engine technology. The stakes are high, and the outcome could redefine the future of flight. The balance of power in aviation is shifting, and the world is watching to see who will lead the skies in the decades to come. The Russo-Chinese engine alliance sent shockwaves through Europe's aerospace industry. Airbus and Safran, already hurt by the US ban, now face the rise of a state-backed competitor. The C919, once a minor rival, was becoming a real threat, especially with a Russian engine and a secure supply chain. European leaders felt betrayed by US trade policies that sparked this new competition. The EU's industrial interests were caught in a geopolitical crossfire, risking jobs and R&D budgets. Calls grew for a more independent European trade policy, less tied to Washington's confrontational stance. The alliance was a warning. The old world of transatlantic aerospace cooperation was fracturing. Europe now faced a far more complex and hostile competitive landscape. The Russo-Chinese alliance is set to redraw the aviation map, especially in Asia, Africa, and Latin America. For decades, airlines in these regions had only Boeing or Airbus, at a high price and with political strings. A sanction-proof C919, powered by a Russian engine and backed by Chinese financing, offers a compelling alternative. For many developing nations, lower costs and fewer political conditions are irresistible. Buying C919s becomes a strategic move, diversifying dependencies, and aligning with a new industrial power. If the C919 gains traction, it could create a parallel market for parts and services, eroding Boeing and Airbus's dominance. The world could soon see two competing aerospace ecosystems, one Western, one led by China and Russia. The skies over emerging markets will reveal which side is winning. November 16, 2025, Russia and China's alliance marks the first real crack in Western aerospace dominance. What began as a US gamble has triggered a technological arms race, with a new bloc challenging the old duopoly. The era of uncontested control is ending. Aviation's future is fractured and multipolar. The immediate goal is to secure the C919, but the long-term vision is a self-sufficient, vertically integrated aerospace industry. Success isn't guaranteed, but the determination is unprecedented. The outcome will shape global trade, supply chains, and geopolitics for decades. The C919 story is a cautionary tale. Efforts to constrain China have only accelerated its rise. The skies of the 21st century will be contested, no longer the domain of a single power.